If you guys are on this video, that means you have been assigned the media analysis paragraph. Hopefully you followed the instructions already and you have completed reading this and also highlighting each section, lead-ins, comparisons to pulp culture, citations, topic sentence, description, evidence, and analysis, so that this whole body paragraph looks like fireworks have gone off, right? Take time now to really look at how this student goes about introducing the media piece, summarizing the media piece, even quoting, right? Quoting is very different. Most of the time, you guys are just told to have a signal phrase and embed a massive quote. But when you're getting something like an entire song or an entire video, it's kind of hard to do that because a lot of different elements at different points of the song or the video are significant. So just to note that you guys are allowed to quote evidence like this. So you've got this signal phrase where it says, amidst the beat, maracas, and whistling, the band members introduce the narrator of their chorus, Robert, who is immediately described as having. All of that is a signal phrase. It's giving us the context of these pieces of evidence, these quotes, and then they pull from the song different descriptions that Robert has been given. He's got a quick hand, a rolled cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he's a cowboy kid. And then what they do is they go through and they explain the significance of each of those words. Remember, you want to be in depth. You want to take time to really explain your thinking because as a reader, I'm not in your brain. Take it and make it as clear as possible why those quotes are significant. So they spend the rest of this talking about that. The term cowboy kid could be merely a reference to a mascot or a costume, yet the first descriptions of quick hand and rolled cigarette calls to mind that Robert, like a cowboy, is fast on the draw or good with a gun. This is further substantiated or further proven when a band reveals that Robert not only is looking around for the room and has a plan, but has also obtained a 6-shooter gun from his dad's closet in a box of fun things. The band closes this first verse with a warning, he's coming for you, before Robert becomes the narrator of the chorus, telling others, you better run, outrun my gun, and later better run faster than my bullet. As you notice, there's citation right here where it says foster the people. And throughout this entire elaboration and analysis, they're still quoting and pulling out things from the song that helps them prove their analysis, right? So this whole paragraph's talking about the fact that he's a cowboy kid and cowboys have guns, as we know in Westerns and movies that we've seen today. And then the rest of their evidence, like the 6-shooter gun and the dad's closet full of fun things, further proves that cowboy kid means that Robert has a gun. And then they give us some background information as a part of their elaboration, right? Well, how do you know that Mark Foster is actually talking about guns? And so this is done with some outside research. This student has gone out of his way to research the background of the song, Mark Foster's own experience with gun control or even a school shooting. And it says, lead vocalist Mark Foster and the bassist Cubby Fink both dealt with troubled youth as they were growing up. The former was bullied in high school. The latter had a cousin survive the 1999 Columbine massacre, one of the first massive school shootings to leave the nation dumbfounded. So again, this provides, hey, I know that Foster the People is actually writing this song about gun control because I've done the research that deals with kind of the background of these two players in Foster the People. Both of them have experienced this idea of being bullied and also guns. The student then explains that Foster was in an interview said he was trying to get inside the head of an isolated psychotic kid. And again, there's a citation. In another interview, he said that instead of writing about victims and some tragedy, I wanted to get into the killer's mind. And so again, this is more evidence that is helping elaborate the fact that this is about guns and a kid coming in with one. So again, this student has done he has not only analyzed the song and he's proven to us that it's about unfortunately a school shooting, but he's also saying this is where that song inspiration comes from. And the rest of this then talks about kind of his own view. So they're making great comparisons to other books. So similar to TV shows like Breaking Bad or Truman Capote's novel In Cold Blood, portraying stories from the perspective of the evil, corrupt, and disturbed sheds new light on the previous outlook perspectives. It informs the audience of telltale signs, motivations, and consequences of these people's choices, right here. And then it talks about what is Mark Foster's opinion on guns and school shootings? And this is what's important about your media analysis. Your first half really has to talk about what is this piece of media saying and how do you know? What's pointing? How does this deal with abortion? How does this deal with legalization of drugs? How does this deal with gun control? And then the second half of your paragraph has to say, and what is their opinion on it? Because the first part is they're presenting this idea, but the second part needs to say, what is their opinion? Do they agree with gun control or do they disagree with gun control? Do they agree with pro-life or do they disagree with pro-life? So the rest of this paragraph does that. Because of pumped up kicks, the listener is aware that shooters are unusually quiet, isolated, don't have emotional connections at home. Again, there's more proof in this parentheses, and spend a significant amount of time plotting. Okay, so he's gotten into the mind of the shooter, and he is essentially saying these are telltale signs for anybody. And then it says the song is by no means a justification or a glorification of guns or school shootings. In fact, other than the beat, there is no positive outcome in the song. And so that is the first hint that this isn't something that Mark Foster agrees with. He does not agree with people being able to have guns. He does not agree with the outcome of what happens if somebody gets, if the gun is put in the wrong hands. And then this student continues explaining. It's similar to what Stephen King does in his famous character It. He takes a seemingly innocent object that's supposed to bring joy, a clown, and perverts it as a means of discussing the power of fear over the mind. The fact that this song is so catchy and easy to sing makes it an eerie reminder of how commonplace these events are and how desensitized people are becoming. Foster wanted to do something about gun violence. So again, we know that this media piece isn't a glorification, but it's kind of a like, hey, these are the signs, look out and be ready for this. And he's essentially commenting on the fact that, like, unfortunately, this is too common for us these days. So now that you've gone through, you've highlighted all of these things and you've listened to me kind of talk about the structure, make sure that you guys are doing the same thing in your outline. So you need to have a topic sentence. What is the issue? What is it? Gun control? Is it abortion? Is it the legalization of drugs? Is it free speech? Make sure you have the author of the media piece, the text type, and the title, and then put it into a fat sentence. Again, if you're struck with this, there's a reason I've given you an example. Look up here and see how this student did it and try to copy that. Then you're going to do what we do in every single body paragraph. Give me some background information before you embed evidence. If I haven't seen the TV show or watched the movie, then give me a summary of that so I know what you're going to be talking about in the rest of your paragraph. Then you need to have your signal phrase with embedded evidence, quote, and citation. Again, if you get stuck on any of this, just go back up to the example and look at how this student does it. Finally, you're going to have elaboration. Try answering all of these questions. If it is longer than 2 sentences, that's fine. Honestly, that's probably better. But answer all of these questions. Then you're going to do your second piece of embedded evidence. This probably could come from the media piece itself or interviews about that episode, about that song, the inspiration for that media piece. Again, elaborate on that. And then finally, your conclusion. It needs to be 2 sentences. You have to summarize what you've been saying. And then again, give me the impact. Why did the artist make a song about this issue or a video or a art piece about this issue? And what do they hope will come of it? For Mark Foster and Foster the People, he hoped that he would spread the awareness of gun violence and that it needs to stop. So again, if you get stuck, look up here, see how this student deals with that issue, okay? Good luck.